I think from one delusional guy who is this dude to another delusional guy who people think and forgot for a second think that Damian Lillard is the best shooter in the NBA. I think.
Hold on, wait. Let's pump the brakes, right? Because it doesn't say that in the fucking notes, right? And second of all, old boy was cooking for 50 points, and he's in the middle of nowhere. And he's a good dude.
Sure.
He can rap like a motherfucker. Yep. I mean, he's got to be cracking the top 10. I mean, he's a top 10 player. Is the argument now maybe considered 5 or 6?
No.
Because he's balling.
He's probably not even top 10 still.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the harsh judge. I like when Hollow gets brutal. Why doesn't he cop the why doesn't he crack the top 10 in your opinion?
Okay. Besides
hardware.
Well, that's how you got to rate them if you're rating a great top 10 player, right?
Harden doesn't have hardware, and Harden
is why he's like an outside looking over the top 5.
Right, but he's still in the top 10.
But look what he's doing. He's having 40-point triple doubles. Yeah, like that's a totally different thing where, at least he's went to the Western Conference Finals maybe 3 or 4 times, and I know Damian Lillard has beaten him head to head. I think back in 2014, he beat him on a walk-off shot when Dwight was still on the Rockets. But I think we're just a prisoner of the moment. I think he took over the NBA bubble and people just fell in love with him. Everybody forgot about, Steph and was trying to make a case for him. I always said this. I said if Steph wasn't in the league and Steph wasn't, around, he would be the best shooter in the league. Damian Lillard.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
But unfortunately, Clay is more of a catch and shoot than Lillard could do.
Yeah, just to shoot.
Almost close to what Steph can do. The reason why Steph is the greatest because he could shoot off of screens, off the dribble, mid-range, half court, everything. Clay is just a pure catch and shoot guy. He's not a between your legs, turn around, off, off the dribble shooting.
Off the dribble, yeah.
That's a totally different beast.
Okay.
But he's one of them. He's emerging. He just needs to get over the hump. And I don't know if he can.
If you're saying that he's 2 to fucking Steph, then he's totally a top 10 player.
Yeah, but Steph owns him. That's the issue.
Oh, okay. But that's another thing too. So look, I was listening to some of his interviews and he's talking about like, I know what it is to be forgotten and blah, blah. I think he was playing a little bit of a violin there. But at the same token, bro, the West is too stacked. There's no way you're going to dominate if you're in the West. You need to get out of the West.
No, you don't. Look at Steph. You don't have to leave.
But Steph, what I'm saying is this. San Francisco, right, or Golden State is more attractive to land free agents, a la Kevin Durant, than Portland is. Portland is like the equivalent, in my opinion, to Ohio. Even LeBron James couldn't get guys to go there. He had to leave and then come back, and then all of a sudden people got interested. I think what Damian Lillard is doing on an island, I mean, obviously he's top 20, but I still think he's making a case, man. The guy can fucking ball. Yeah. He balls better than a lot of the other players. And the heart and championship that we talk about all the time, you can see it in his eyes. He's a beast. I mean, if he went to any team that was loaded, if he went to a super team, he would throw them way over the fucking hump.
The issue is him flopping in the playoffs. So that comes into account. So you got regular season, you cook in the regular season. Everybody gives you that little grace period, like when you're baking a cake. You just wait, let it fluff up. So you get that little 4 or 5 year grace period. Then you get swept by the 6th seed. They got swept by New Orleans. They got slapped by Steph without KD. They got slapped when Steph came back off of a bruised knee. Like, he has a lot of these shortcomings. And then look at in the bubble, he got hurt in the bubble, but then the Lakers just steamrolled them in the bubble. So like, where is this in the playoffs? That's why the same thing. That's why Giannis, he's having almost a better year than he had last year, but he's not going to win the MVP because of the last 2 postseasons. You have to show up when it counts the most, and that's what makes you a top 10, top 5 player. If you can't show up, then you gotta get skipped over by somebody else.
No, that's a fair argument. I mean, like when we get down to the the hoop You always provide an interesting perspective. I just say, look, forget about the hardware. Regular season, homeboy is phenomenal. I would like to make a campaign to get him to the Knicks because we're playing with 500, and that would definitely put us over the hump to have a star player like him. But yeah, I mean, look, right now there really isn't nothing going on, so you got a lot of people with the eyeballs on the basketball, obviously scoring 50 points, and the stat sheet that he provided for that one game was awesome. I mean, he's gonna have to stay at that kind of level. Would you raise him up? Let's say he stays at this level, right? Not 50, but let's say he's a double guy and he does 40 and 10 every night. Could he still get the MVP or no?
No.
In your opinion, no. Right now, in your opinion, who's getting the MVP? LeBron James or Harden?
I think it's Harden, but they're gonna hold that
Right?
against him for not
Which part?
showing
LeBron
up
James or Harden?
against the Rockets in the beginning of the year, like that him quitting. Like the writers are mad soft and sensitive, and they're gonna
terrible.
be, you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Uncle Salty.
That's what drives the MVP votes is the writers.
Yep.
They need to change that. Go ahead, Uncle Salty. What are you gonna chime?
If he goes 40 and 10 for the season, I think that's like a guaranteed MVP. Jordan never scored 40 a game in the NBA. The most he ever scored a game, I think, was 38, and was only grabbing 7 to 9 rebounds at the time. I mean, granted, he was winning championship after championship, but if you go 40 and 10 for the year,
I think that
you have to be in the conversation.
The issue is that it will be in the conversation, but the issue is that you got to look at guys who did it from beginning to end. So like LeBron, beginning to the end of the season. You know, James Harden, when I get it, they gonna hold against those 2 weeks against him in the Rockets. But look at the first game he came back for the Rockets, 44, 16, and 12. Like just to show I could still cook y'all. Like in the Rockets.
That guy is making a case for like top 3 player right now.
Yeah, for sure. But
like
he has the same issue that Damian Lillard has. You flop in the
disappears
postseason.
in the playoffs. Yeah,
So-
disappears.
I love he does it with a dad bod. That's the best part about the whole thing.
Exactly.
He's out there with a good 40 on people.
Yep.
He's unbelievable. He's like the maestro out there. I'm very, very, very impressed. But we gotta. I want to. Speaking of basketball, and before I move gears real quick, I wanted to say, you think automatic LBJ again then? Because they love this dude.
They most likely they've already.
It's like yo
They've
here,
already.
here,
That's one thing about
here.
the NBA is that once a narrative is set, that's how the narrative goes, and that's how they're gonna vote. It has nothing to do with anything. Like when Russell Westbrook had the triple double, it was just because he had a triple double for the season, and it didn't matter that his team was a 5th seed. Like it was just that he was the best. You know, he did something historic.
Filthy. He was filthy.
But he wasn't
That
the
guy
best
was
player in the league. Like all that shit,
Gotcha.
he won. He still had the 5th seed in the league, and then he got bounced in the first round anyway by Ricky Rubio. So like, what? It didn't mean anything.
I don't know whose idea it was to play Russell Westbrook at the 1. Like that is, you have a black hole playing the 1 when he's supposed to be distributing the ball. All I've ever seen Russ do is go to the rack out of control and try to score. And if he doesn't, kick it out to the 3-point line. Like you can do that if you play the 2. I can even use you as a coach if you play the 3 and are good at that. But as a 1, as a distributor, I thought that he was just a torpedo to your team. That is the last guy as a coach I would ever want running point for me.
That's Scott Skiles' fault.
Price too.
That's Scott Skiles' fault, and that's the coach that's in the Washington right now. So he's right back to the same coach.
He's got to be a 3 or 2. He's big enough. You know, have him be your shooting guard. You don't have that guy giving up the rock because he never does.